Hey everyone, hope everything's going well. Preston and I here thought it would be fun to do a little Boom Fantasy on this one game slate. Do you think we have an edge today, Preston?
Yeah, I've been researching this game for a little while today, and we like what we see. We have Jalen Brown should is doubtful for tonight, and he'll probably sit. So that'll open up some things for the Celtics side of things, and yeah, we like the Sixers to win tonight, and we like the studs on that team, and we feel like we have a pretty solid grasp on the slate all around. So we're ready for the game tonight. So.
Yeah, and with one game and Preston feeling so good about this slate, we thought why not go for the big shot and try to get everyone to win this progressive. Got the $2 progressive slate for us, a big jackpot of about $4,700. Let's try to take it down. For most points, we got Terry Rozier, Ben Simmons, Al Horford, and Dario Saric. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, so this one's interesting. It's pretty close here between these four guys. We have them all projected basically between like 15 and 20 points. So there's really no obvious option to choose here, and there's really no obvious guy to drop from consideration. Though we do like the Sixers to win tonight, so usually I would want to side with a player from the team I have winning, but Simmons and Saric aren't huge scorers. Simmons is one of the best, probably him or Embiid are the best player on the Sixers, but he really doesn't score a ton. If I could choose anybody from this game to score the most points, it would probably be Embiid, but he's not in this category. So with that, I'm probably looking at Terry Rozier here. With Jalen Brown out, Jalen Brown's been playing mid 30s minutes, so Rozier should get even a few more on top of his big workload. He's looking at 36 to 38 minutes again tonight, and he's just been playing incredible. He was a backup point guard to start the year behind Kyrie Irving, and he's just been playing out of his mind. He had 26 points in the game 7 the other night against Milwaukee, and he's just playing very, very well. So I think with me liking Simmons as the top overall guy for DFS and for other kind of sites here, I think when we're looking at solely points, Rozier's probably my guy here. I have him projected between 18 and 20. So I think he has the best chance to get to that 20 point threshold.
Yeah, I just want to throw this out there. Preston's been going hard at this slate all day, since he woke up. So I'm really taking what he has to say to heart today, and especially when I already agree with him on Rozier. I just kind of like that the Celtics are home here. Whenever a player is missing and one of the beneficiaries in the category, something that definitely highly consider. Terry Rozier's got to do a lot of scoring if Boston's going to keep this game close. I mean, we don't project them to keep it within 5, but he's gonna have to do everything he can. Al Horford, not the biggest scorer, he'll get his own, but I think Terry Rozier has the most upside for sure. In the rebounding category, we have Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Al Horford, and Ilyasova. What do you like?
Yeah, so here this one's a little bit easier than the points category. I think we can really drop Ilyasova from this category. He played very, very well the first 2 games of the series versus the Heat, but he that was without Embiid, and now obviously Embiid is back, so he's taken minutes and rebounding opportunities and everything from Ilyasova, and so we can probably just drop him from these 4, and then we have Horford, who like you said, he's not a big uh, producer stat wise. He's a great player, great chemistry player. He's solid on the defensive end, but he doesn't just put up gigantic numbers. I don't see him getting double digit rebounds tonight too confidently, whereas Simmons and Embiid are more threats to get that double digit mark. With between those two, earlier in the series, Simmons was just going off. He was producing in every category with Embiid sidelined. When Embiid came back, he took just a slight hit in those categories, but really nothing substantial. He's still an incredible player. I think in the rebounding category alone, I like Embiid here. I think he has the best chance to get 10, 12 rebounds. I think he could get 18 rebounds tonight as a ceiling, whereas Simmons is looking more to score, looking more to get assists as well as rebounds. So whereas Embiid is focusing mainly on rebounds. He's the one big guy on the Sixers, whereas everybody kind of pitches in with their share. But Embiid gets the majority of them. So I think he's definitely my pick here in this category.
Yeah, again, agree. I think the best thing to do, I mean, well, we have two centers for rebounding. Al Horford doesn't ever get too many. And then you got Simmons and Embiid, same team. You got one guy who's going to be patrolling the paint the whole time. The other one who will probably get maybe on a low end triple double. But we haven't seen Simmons climb above like the 15 rebound area. So you got to go with upside. We really like Embiid's upside. We like the matchup for him tonight. And I'd lock him in for that spot. For most three-pointers made, we have Rozier, Redick, Bellinelli, and Jason Tatum. Much tougher category, right?
Yeah, this one's tough. We've said this multiple times before on these videos. With when you get not necessarily 3-pointers, but when you get any category where the projection is between like 2 and 3, it's tough to choose a guy because the difference between 2 and 3 is so minuscule compared to the number. So it's really tough. Just when I first looked at this category, I kind of figured Redick was one of the easier picks. The other three aren't, or at least the two Celtics players aren't prototypical 3-point shooters. And Redick and Bellinelli are kind of the same player. Redick's just a little bit better. But I went and looked at Rozier's stats and his 3-pointers. He made 5 3-pointers last game, and he made 4 the game before. And he's been looking at 2 to 3 per game over the first round versus Milwaukee. So he's actually making a lot more 3-pointers over the past series than some may think. At least I did. For me, it's between Rozier and Redick. Bellinelli is a great option here, but with Redick in the same category, I just think Redick's the better play overall. They both have similar upside and similar floors. But between Rozier and Redick, it's very tough. Rozier's been playing incredibly well with Brown sidelined. He'll get just that many more minutes and many more shot attempts and all that. I think I'd still lean with Redick. Like we said earlier, I want to lean towards the team that I think is going to win when we're looking at points if it's kind of a tiebreaker. So I think Redick's my choice here, but I think you could really go either way between Redick or Rozier. This category is very tough to determine, though.
Yeah, definitely. Love that you brought up the point about Rozier making 4 and 5 threes. Because we did pick him for the points category, meaning we do want him to score a lot. A lot of that might come off of threes. Philly's not one of the better teams guarding the point guard. So Rozier could possibly have a day, and then you got Redick, who's definitely their best 3-point shooter. Bellinelli a close second, but like Preston said, I mean, when you assume a team wins, they're going to score more points, and Redick's hopefully going to be a big part of that. I think he's got the slight edge, but if you're multi-entering, absolutely get yourself some Rozier. For most assists, we have Ben Simmons, Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, and Robert Covington. Are you giving this one to Simmons?
Yeah, Simmons is my pick here. In the Playline article I wrote, I projected him to get double-digit assists. I think he has a great game, a great series, really. These other guys, they're great players in themselves, but they don't have double-digit assist upside every single game. I think Simmons is really the one guy that should dominate this category amongst every player in this series. Rozier and Smart are solid. I think they'll get 5 to 6 assists tonight, but I see Simmons has a floor of maybe 6 at the absolute minimum. And I think he has upside to get 12, 14 rebounds, something like that. Covington is just not even in consideration. He's looking at 2 to 3. But yeah, this one's not very close for me. It's Simmons all the way here.
Yeah, don't have any opposition. Don't really have anything extra to add to that. Really cut Simmons' play. Then we have Terry Rozier for points. A lot of people are probably going to get thrown off by that season average of 11 per game, but what do you have him projected for?
Yeah, that's very true. He like we said this a little bit earlier, but he's just been playing absolutely incredibly well. Without Kyrie, he's not. We don't project him to score 11 points. That number is off just based on the fact that he's been playing many more minutes without Kyrie over the last small handful of games compared to the 82 game season. I'm looking more between 17 to 18 points or so. He was pretty consistent. Other than the 26 he had last game, the few games before he had 16, 16, and 10 on a pretty poor shooting night. So I think maybe 16 to 18, maybe the upper end of that threshold right there. So yeah, I'd probably project him about 18 if I had to pick a number, but I think you could go maybe a few less, maybe a point or two more. But yeah, that 11 number is definitely not accurate for this.
Yeah, I definitely like what you're saying about him. Anytime we have a guy in the points category and someone's coming off an injury, I always like to point out the usage. And earlier
Yeah.
in the series, Rozier saw 20% usage, 17% usage, 19% usage in series versus Milwaukee, and then Jaylen Brown goes out and it spikes to 25%. He put up 26 points, 18 field goal attempts, the most he took in the series since game one. I think you guys got a lot of upside there tonight. We're projecting him to score higher than anyone else in the first category. So I think I like the 19 to 23 area, solely because we don't expect anyone in the first category to have like a lights out scoring night. But Rozier's probably got the highest floor, and I like the ceiling. He could hit over 23, but I think the safe thing is somewhere around 19 to 23. I'd expect at least 15 shot attempts from him tonight. And lastly, we have Joel Embiid. I know you did a lot of research on him today.
Yeah, yeah, I like him a lot for DFS, and I wrote a playline article too that's on the DFI website, breaking down him as one of the three players in that three stat category or contest. So yeah, I did a good amount of research on him today, and I'm liking him we have him projected for around 30 minutes, 30 to 32 minutes. So that's around his season average, but we do project this game to be slower paced. Both teams are a little bit below the league average in terms of pace, but without Kyrie Irving, have seen the Celtics play much slower, and we think really that without Jaylen Brown as well, we think their best opportunity to win is going to be to play slower, minimize the number of possessions, and just play slower overall to get better quality looks, get the advantage in the coaching with Brad Stevens. So I'm going to go a little bit. We have that 23 number for his season long average. I'm going to go a little bit below that. I still think he has a very solid game, but I'm looking at maybe 18 to 20. I think you could go maybe 19 to 21 or 18 to 22 for a range of 5 points. But yeah, I projected him at like 19 or 20 myself. So I would go probably one of those two numbers for me, just with the overall scoring total being, with us projecting the overall total being less, just taking a few points away from his total.
Yeah, this is something I'm absolutely going to trust Preston on. He's been researching him all day. He's absolutely right about the pace. It doesn't project to be a quick one. We think this will be a pretty low-scoring game. I think we have, the Celtics under 100 points.
Yep.
And then we also think Philly wins by at least 4.5. So you're looking at not too much going on for either side. Embiid has been seeing around 30 minutes. The field goal attempts aren't anything wild. He's been taking 11. The highest he has is 14. I think people are going to overproject him just because he's Embiid. And then no one's going to have him in that category that Preston just did. Trust the research, and I really like the pick. I would go in that exact range. I wouldn't project him too high, especially in game one. Game one is usually a lot different, and we need a bigger sample size. But that'll be everything for this game, guys. Enjoy watching. We just have one game today. Any final words, Preston?
No, we have the DFI War Room up on the DFIU site. So go check that out. We have a playline article for the game tonight up as well. So we really have every site covered tonight. We have DraftKings, FanDuel, Playline, and we got this boom video for you guys. So feel free to check out any of those sources, and we're ready to watch the game, and we think it should be a fun one for game one of this series.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us, guys, and have fun watching the game.